Hello, yes, it's me, Lizzie B. And today I want to talk about just some chill, sweet, wholesome things, which are movies and shows and books that I like. Because I wanna. Nobody's listening, so I can say anything I want. Just some good, clean, wholesome fun on a good, clean, wholesome month. And good, clean, wholesome clothes. I'm actually wearing really cute tights. Can you see? Anyway, basically, I just want to give praise to things that I think people should talk about more. And some of them, I'm not saying they're masterpieces, I'm not saying they're objectively good, I'm just saying that I enjoy them. You know, sometimes you just enjoy something and you can't really articulate why, okay? Some of these are like that. It's mindless enjoyment. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay, my first movie on my list is Turbo. That's correct. The Pixar movie about the snail voiced by Ryan. Who was it? Was it Ryan Reynolds? I think it was Ryan Reynolds. One of the Ryans. Yes, I know it's absolutely absurd. Yes, I know it's not one of the better Pixar movies, but I just enjoy it. I enjoy the brother relationship and I enjoy the sort of tongue-in-cheek humor and I enjoy the two brothers who run a taco truck, okay? That's all I have to say about it. I think it's fun. And the whoa, that snail is fast joke, okay? That's peak internet humor. Another animated movie I really love, people love talking up about, is just Trolls. I am a 19-year-old woman, and I have watched Trolls probably more than 10 times. It's really cute, okay? Jukebox musicals are fun, and if you don't think so, you have a heart of stone. Like, there's little trolls singing and dancing to 80s music, and the aesthetic of the movie is really nice. It's very, like, crafty and scrapbooky and felty. And Anna Kendrick is a good singer, and so is Justin Timberlake. Get over it. Again, I'm not saying it's a masterpiece, but it actually has, like, some really solid themes and a really good crisis climax moment with the true colors. And Branch and Poppy are made for each other, okay? Leave me alone. Going forward with more animated stuff, I really, really like Penguins of Madagascar. Both the show and the movie. I actually haven't watched the show in a long time. I just grew up with it and I like it. But I really, really enjoy the animated movie. Part of it is the day that I had when I watched it, because it was a day my parents wanted to see something, I don't remember what, at the theater, and they were like, I mean, this is our date, but if you want to come along and go to your own movie at the same time, that'd be cool. And the only movie that was available at that time was Penguins of Madagascar, and I was like, I mean, I guess, sure, whatever. And I was the only one in this, like, little theater, and so I could, like, laugh and talk to the screen as much as I wanted, and slide around on the banisters and eat popcorn, and it was just fun. Like, it was just a cute movie with actually good humor. Benedict Cumberbatch's greatest performance has been that husky guy. Like, and by husky guy, I mean guy who is an anthropomorphic husky, not like a big guy. Also, an animated movie I really, really enjoy is Mr. Peabody and Sherman, the DreamWorks movie. It's just so wholesome. It's so cute. And I never knew anything about Peabody and Sherman. It's just not my generation. But the way they wrote that adorable, like, adoptive father-son relationship, and some of just, like, the history humor that's in that movie is just really, really solid. It was just so fun. And the way they animated Sherman in that movie, so cute, so adorable. I just want to hug him. Another animated movie I like is Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. It's just, I don't know what it is about it. I just think it's really cute and wholesome. Make a lot of really, really funny food puns and dumb jokes. Like, there's a leak in the boat. That's the funniest thing ever. And my favorite moment is probably when they sort of subvert expectations for that trope where the pretty girl takes off her glasses and like, oh, now she's hot. But it's the opposite. Like, he puts on Sam's glasses and he's like, oh, wow. And it's like, and finally, the greatest movie, that's what we should call them now. And finally, the greatest animated film of all time, Surf's Up. That's right. I honestly don't mean that completely ironically. Like, legit. Yeah, there are really bangers of movies that are just well written and well crafted, a lot of hard work put into them. But Surf's Up is just, I just keep coming back to it. There comes a time of year when I really feel like watching Surf's Up, you know? Just to have fun. I love the cast. They actually do really well voice acting, even though it's a lot of like celebrities. Jeff Bridges and Zooey Deschanel, and actually I really, really like Shia LaBeouf's voice acting. I really like that it's like a surf movie, which is not a sports movie person, but like I like that they actually tried to make it about surfing, just with penguins. I really like the fact that it's a mockumentary. I think that's so weird for animated movies, but it really, really works. And I think more animated movies need to do it. I also love the humor that they use with the mockumentary style. And just in general, like there are so many iconic lines from my childhood that I would say and my family would say from this movie. And we still say today, like, stepped on me, guy practically danced on me. It was broken, gone, broken. Okay, moving on to more like live action movies. Let's start with like some rom-coms, because there are some rom-coms that I think are great. People don't talk about, maybe just because people don't talk about rom-coms that much, I don't know. There's this Australian movie called Strictly Ballroom. It was made 80s or 90s, I think. Whatever, doesn't matter. And it's about this guy who is a competitive ballroom dancer. And he loses his partner and starts to work with this beginner dancer, Fran. And they fall in love, you know, obviously. What else would they do? And it's great, okay? The romance, it's spot on. The soundtrack, dancing, amazing. And it's just like, it gets like really over the top sometimes, and it's just really fun. And there's just like some really cool like Spanish music in it. Like Fran, the girl, comes from a Spanish family, and she and her family basically have to teach the guy flamenco, and that's how they, you know, shake up the competition circuit or whatever. It's just really great. Sometimes it makes me cry. And it's on Netflix right now. So I think everyone should watch it, because it wasn't on Netflix for a while. It was taken off, but now it's back. So that's pretty high up on my rom-coms list. My number one rom-com is While You Were Sleeping. Okay? Bill Pullman, Sandra Bullock, 90s. Amazing. It's about a girl who doesn't have any family because her parents died, obviously, and lives alone and has a crush on this guy she's never met officially, but sees working at the subway. And then he falls off the tracks because he was mugged, and she has to save him, but he's in a coma, okay? So you'd think something would happen between them. But then she falls in love with his brother while he was sleeping. Do you get it? I just really like it. It's really charming and like down to earth. And Bill Pullman was very, very attractive. Another rom-com I really like is Leap Year with Amy Adams and that Irish guy. I don't remember. I'd say it's a little more on the average side of rom-coms. Like, if you're looking for something really different, this probably isn't gonna be it, but like, it's just fun. It was on Netflix. I don't think it is anymore, which sucks, but another rom-com, which is on Netflix, I know right now, is called Class Rank. It has Olivia Holt in it, and that guy who played young Sean from Psych. I don't remember the actor's name once again, but the thing that really made me love Class Rank was just, like, it was really real. Like, it felt really down to earth, and it felt like two real teenagers who went to a real school and experienced the real academic pressures that students face. The moment that I first watched it and I thought, oh, this movie might be onto something, was when they zoomed in on the school lunches that they had. And like, they were the most realistic school lunches I'd ever seen as a teenager. Because it's like, most movies, rom-com or otherwise, show school lunches and either they go like, they're way too nice. Like, these kids have Capri Suns and really nice looking hamburgers and multiple sides that look like they came from fast food. Either they go that route, or the school lunch is like too ugly and gross. Like, it's literally gruel on a plate. And that's meant to be like exaggerating how awful school lunch is. But like, this Class Rank school lunches were on point, okay? They were like tiny servings, didn't look that good quality, but like, it was still food, you know? Kind of like a rom-com, but not exactly. Another favorite movie of mine is Elle Enchanted. I love this movie. It is based on a book, and I actually recently read the book earlier this year, and it was a solid fairy tale read. Like, book Ella is a little more oriented towards language, so like, that's how she gets out of a lot of things, because she's good at mimicking people and she's good at speaking the ogre's language, which kind of hypnotizes you. Other than that, it was like really, really following the main story beats of Cinderella without a whole lot of differences. And I just love the movie. Like, it has this great sort of satirical tone. It like plays with fairy tale tropes because it's like mashing what was modern day, you know, like early 2000s with fairy tale fashion and speak and trends. And it was adorable. Okay. Anne Hathaway was great. They sang a song at the end. Carrie Ellis was the villain. Like, I would like to point that out. There really wasn't a super strong villain in the book, but the villain was just so hilarious and creepy in the movie. It was some great stuff. Maybe I should just make a video about the book versus the movie. I don't know. Another movie with Anne Hathaway in it is The Princess Diaries, which I also love. Part of this, I will admit, I know, is nostalgia. Like, some parts I'll look back and be like, okay, that was a little cringy. But for the most part, I really enjoy it, okay? I think it's a lot better than the sequel, which was kind of just... But the original was like, I don't know, it just has so many cute, funny lines. Welcome to Shut Up and Listen. Like, the characters are great. The cast is great. Even the love interest is solid. Like, just cute and wholesome. And yeah, I know that it's like living out a teenage girl's fantasy. Who cares? Sort of in the same vein as Princess Diaries is Aquamarine, which I know a lot of girls my age look back at it with fondness. I find myself rewatching this one so much. Like, the cast had so much chemistry. They're all so cute. It's just a really solid movie for girls about friendship, you know? Like, you get that stuff that you really wanted to watch at that age, which was mermaids and cute guys. But, you know, then you have this great, great moment where you're like, oh yeah, platonic love is not in any way lower than romantic love. And I feel like this movie for like teenage girl, early 2000s culture was just really big. Like eating fish sticks and gummy worms and like putting on your dress without the sleeves and then tying the sleeves around like she does. The number of times I did that. I'm not going to talk about it because it's embarrassing. Okay, let's move out of more small teenage girl stuff and into Lemony Snicket's A Series of Unfortunate Events. This was the movie that came out basically meshing like the first 3 books from A Series of Unfortunate Events together into this movie. Jim Carrey was Count Olaf. The kids were pretty much played by unknowns like they are in the Netflix version. And I like the Netflix version. Like, I like that we had time to flesh out some of that stuff. And I think the aesthetic of it is really strong. I like the kids in it, and Neil Patrick Harris is hilarious. I think the movie was just as strong to me, at least in terms of cast and writing. Like, yeah, the movie kind of rushed through a lot of stuff, but the Netflix one kind of dragged in some parts. And I also just really like the ambiance, the tone, the costumes that they built with this movie. Like, it's a lot more gothic and dark, kind of smoky, and like you're not sure what time period set in. I really like it. A movie that I watched fairly recently, called Anna and the Apocalypse, recently joined my I just think they're neat pile of movies. This is a little less well known than a lot of these. It was a British movie musical about zombie apocalypse, you know? What more could you ask for? It's about teenagers who are stuck in a school and have to fight off zombies, and people die and things suck, but it has some straight up bops. Like, I've listened to Hollywood Ending, one of the first few songs on the soundtrack, so many times it's not even funny. Another movie I really, really love is Inkheart. Yes, yes, you may not remember it. It's a movie based on the Inkheart trilogy, which I have read. It stars Brendan Fraser, other people whose names I don't know. And a lot of people really don't like it because it's so different from the books. But I just don't find myself feeling that, even though I love the books. Like, basically, a lot of things are, like, streamlined and simplified. Also, most importantly, the movie is basically standalone, and it felt like it was planned to be standalone because at the end, one of the characters, Dustfinger, ends up back in the book world where he wanted to be, but in the books, the adventure continues, basically. But I don't find any of those things necessarily bad for the movie. I really like a lot of the effects. I really, really like the cast. Brendan Fraser is great. The other people whose names I don't know, Helen Mirren, I know her. Andy Serkis, that's right. Andy Serkis is the villain. He is both horribly intimidating and hilarious. I think he was great. Duct tape. Iconic. But, like, no one ever talks about this movie. And unless they're using it as an example not to adapt books to movies. And I think that's a mistake, honestly. I think a lot of the time, in fact, it's better to be different, really, really different from the books. Because they were written to be books, not movies. You could be crafting a How to Train Your Dragon, which is super different from the books, but really, really good nonetheless. Just like the books are really good. Another movie I feel like people should talk about more is School of Rock. Like, I feel like whenever people mention it or bring it up, then then people are like, oh my gosh, yes, iconic, it's hilarious and really good. But people don't bring it up enough, you know? The part that was made for Jack Black, he does it so well. The concept is really great. Just a guy who knows about rock music tries to teach fancy boarding school kids. And the kids are great. Like, I don't know how they get such talented, not annoying kid cast members, but they did it. They got a whole room full of them. And they were all really talented. And oh my gosh, they're all like my age now, probably. Holy crap. Okay, now it's time for the big one. I really enjoy watching Spider-Man 3. Yes, the third one in the Sam Raimi trilogy. I am not by any means saying it's perfect. I'd say my love for Spider-Man 3 is half ironic and half unironic. And the half that's ironic is the parts you would think of. Like James Franco's weird acting when he's back. Some of the plot is just so convoluted and didn't need to happen. Like him losing his memory and 3 villains. Why is Venom here? Eddie Brock really isn't that well written. The whole symbiote Peter dance sequence is just real cringy. But like, some of it is just unironically good, sorry. Like, the Sandman in general, him as a character, him as a performance, the effects they use on him was just all really good, and I really enjoy all the time. The effects of the symbiote were really good. While some of it was a little cringy. The whole love triangle between Gwen Stacy and MJ and his symbiote making that worse and him becoming a lot more like full of himself and overconfident and being ready to kill the Sandman. Like that all felt like it fit. It felt kind of good, sorry. Am I crazy? Venom looked really good. Like, I'm not saying Venom was written well or fit, but honestly, the effects for Venom look pretty much just as good to me as the effects for Venom in the movie Venom. Like, is that just me? Have we not progressed in that department? And I'm sorry, this Aunt May is the best one. I won't say that this Peter is the best Peter, because I love Tom Holland as Peter, but I still think he's really solid. And I'm gonna put some dirt in your eye is the single greatest line ever uttered. I'm gonna stop talking now, because nobody wants to hear me, but I wanted to do something chill this week.